Welcome back to Will It Ferment?
Will it ferment?
Last time I tried the cola experiment, it was a miserable failure. I think that was because the acidity of this popular cola beverage was too high, or the pH was too low. Been trying to do some research on it, and I believe the acidity of this stuff is around 2.6 pH, whereas yeast, I think, doesn't like to operate below 3.2. So what I've done to try to redeem this experiment is I went and bought a pH testing kit, and depending on what we find about the pH level, we have this calcium carbonate, which apparently can be used to rectify the pH. We add this to raise the pH, which will lower the acidity. Okay, so it will change the acidity of this to the point where the yeast should be able to work. There's plenty of sugar in this stuff. The label for the nutrition information says we've got 10.6 grams of sugar per 100 ml. I think that works out, if we do a gravity reading, that should be about 1.040, which gives us probably about a 5 or 6% potential alcohol at the end of the experiment. First thing I want to do is take a pH reading of this stuff and see where we're actually at. I've never used one of these before, these test kits. Have no idea what I'm doing, but you know, that's what we're here for, is to learn things. I think we're supposed to match up the colours with the colours on the outside of the packet, and if the colours match, then that's our acidity level. But somebody's going to put this sticker right over the numbers. Okay, so let's get ourselves some of this. The other reason I pour some off the top of the bottle is if we do get fermentation action, then we will get foam, not just bubbles, but foam building up at the top of the bottle. If that level is too high, the foam will just come right out the top of the bottle and mess everywhere, so we don't want that. So we pour a bit off, but having poured that off, let's use this. Chuck our little test strip in there. See what we've got. And yeah, I would say, look, this isn't exact, but this is looking like somewhere between 2 and 3. So we've definitely got a very low pH reading on the strips. So I think that's really just confirming what I suspected, which is that the pH is the problem here. I'm going to pour all that into here. Partly so we can degas it, because I only get some of that CO2 out there anyway. Which is like some stuff. Okay, we'll need that. Okay, spoon, a measuring kit. Now, what I don't know is how much of this we need to go in there to change the pH. So I'm probably going to have to do a couple of tests as we go and see where we can get that pH to. Okay, so let's get this open. I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon measurement because that's the smallest measuring spoon I've got, but I think even that's going to be too much, so, or at least I want to try a smaller amount. So I'm going about half, so that's probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon. In it goes. And let's give that a bit of a stir. It should dissolve that calcium carbonate and also help with the degassing. So how about we go for another test strip and see if we've made any progress. Wow, that is an immediate result. I think we're looking at between 4 and 5, which is pretty much where we wanted to get to, but I suspected it would take a bit more than that. But I'm happy we got there quickly. And now I want to take a gravity reading so we can double check where our sugar levels are at. I believe we should be sitting at about 1.040. Okay, that's floating freely. And that's giving me a reading of 1.040. Exactly what I expected. Now we're going to get that back in the bottle. Actually, before I do that, I think I'm going to add the yeast. This is the same bread yeast we used first time around. Let's see if it has any more luck this time. I'm just going to chuck the whole packet in. See what that does. Give it a bit of a stir. Now, what did I do with my funnel? Bottle. And this goes in there. Yeah, looks like we got most of the yeast. I can see the yeast swirling around in there. What I need to do now is put an airlock on this. Now I don't have any actual airlocks that fit these bottles, so once again I'm going to have to go with a balloon. There we go. Done. Now we put it away and wait. The cola experiment seems to be working. It's gone a very funny colour. But that definitely looks like yeasty fermentation at the top there. I did find another bottle that's actually got a wider opening that I can actually fit an airlock into. So what I'm going to do, even though this has only been going for 2 days, I'm actually going to transfer it from one bottle to the other and then put the actual proper airlock on. It's been about an hour since I put the proper airlock in the cola bottle, and we can see plenty of fermentation bubbles going in here. Give it a few days and we'll see what happens. It looks like the fermentation has stopped in the cola experiment, so I think the next thing to do is to open it up and have a taste. It's time for tasting. I've got a little bit here. It's actually somewhat clear. Probably actually clearer than the original cola. Let's have a sniff. I can smell alcohol. I don't really smell the cola flavour. Let's have a taste. Well, it's gone completely dry. There's no sweetness to it whatsoever. Strangely, I was expecting this to be horrible, but it's not entirely horrible. I think that with a little bit of sweetening, if I add just a little bit of sugar, this might actually be a drinkable drink. So I think the next step is put this in another bottle so it doesn't have the dead yeast and stuff in it, and add a little sugar and give it another taste test. So after transferring the cola into a new clean bottle, I've added 60 grams of sugar, which brought the gravity for the cola up to 1.018. So that should be a drinkable level, so not too dry, not too sweet. So I'm ready to have another taste test. There is our drink. Still nice and clear, much clearer than the original. But let's see how it tastes now. It's funny. It's not... It tastes a bit like cola. The sweetness has definitely helped. I can still taste the alcohol. But if I wanted to have an alcoholic cola drink, I think I would stick to just putting a shot of alcohol into a glass of cola. Much easier, simpler, and honestly, the results probably taste a bit better. This isn't the worst thing I've ever tasted, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 3, but it's still going down the drain of shame. Drain of shame. Cola, down you go.